Most financial crimes are committed in shadows. This one happened under spotlights. In the mid-2010s, while Bitcoin was still young and mysterious, a glamorous woman stepped on stage in a ball gown, promised to change the world and convinced millions to believe her. Her name was Dr. Ruja Ignatova. Harvard graduate, Oxford educated, charismatic, brilliant, and secretly, one of the greatest con artists of the 21st century. She called her invention OneCoin the next Bitcoin, but better, faster, easier. It promised wealth for everyone, not just tech experts. And within 3 years, it became one of the most explosive financial schemes in history. $4 billion vanished, and so did she. This is the story of how one woman built a fake empire, deceived the world, and disappeared without a trace. But the real question isn't how she did it. It's why so many people wanted to believe. In 2014, cryptocurrency was a mystery to most. Bitcoin had just started making headlines. People had heard stories of overnight millionaires but didn't understand how it worked. To many, crypto was a magic word: wealth without banks, power without governments. And where there's confusion, there's opportunity. That's when Ruja Ignatova appeared. She was unlike anyone in the crypto world. Elegant, articulate, confident. She didn't look like a coder. She looked like a visionary. Born in Bulgaria, raised in Germany, Ruja was brilliant from an early age. She studied law at Oxford, earned a PhD, and worked for prestigious firms. She spoke multiple languages, and she understood something most didn't. People don't buy technology, they buy stories. So she created one. In late 2014, Ruja launched OneCoin. It claimed to be a revolutionary cryptocurrency, the next step beyond Bitcoin. But unlike Bitcoin, it wasn't mined by computers. It was managed centrally by her company. She said that made it faster, safer, smarter. The pitch was seductive. She told people they were getting in early before the world realized its true value. And she added urgency. "Don't miss your chance," she said. "This is how ordinary people become millionaires." Her timing was perfect. Across Europe, Asia, and Africa, thousands flocked to her seminars. The rooms were packed, flags waved, music blasted, and then came the moment that made her a legend. In June 2016, the Wembley Arena in London was sold out. 15,000 people filled the stadium. Lasers, smoke, applause. And then, under the spotlight, she walked in glittering gown, diamond earrings, and a microphone in hand. "In 2 years," she declared, "no one will talk about Bitcoin anymore." The crowd roared. They believed. They saw not a scammer, but a savior, the crypto queen. What few knew was that her empire was already built on lies. There was no blockchain, no mining, no transparency. OneCoin wasn't a cryptocurrency at all. It was a Ponzi scheme disguised in digital glamour. And while millions invested their life savings, the queen was already preparing her escape. By 2016, OneCoin was everywhere. Seminars were being held in 175 countries. Billboards lined the streets of Bangkok, Lagos, and Dubai. In poor villages and big cities alike, people gathered in halls to hear the same message. This is your chance to join the financial revolution. For many, it sounded like salvation. Banks had ignored them. Governments had failed them. And now, here was a woman educated, elegant, and fearless, promising financial freedom. Ruja's followers didn't just invest. They evangelized. They sold OneCoin packages to their families, friends, and entire communities. The scheme spread like wildfire through multi-level marketing, the same structure used by pyramid sales networks. Each investor was encouraged to recruit more. And every new recruit meant more money flowing upward to the queen. Ruja was a master of perception. She knew that in the digital age, appearance is reality. Her offices in Sofia were stunning marble floors, golden logos, luxury cars outside. She surrounded herself with lawyers, bodyguards, and stylists. Every photo, every event, every word was designed to radiate legitimacy. When journalists asked for proof of OneCoin's blockchain, she smiled and said, "We're more advanced than Bitcoin. You wouldn't understand our technology." No one dared to challenge her, because the numbers looked real. Investors could log into an online dashboard and see their coins multiplying every day. Their balances grew, their profits soared. But it was all an illusion, numbers on a screen backed by nothing. The coins were created in a private database that Ruja controlled. There was no mining, no transparency, and no market. People couldn't sell their coins anywhere except through her own company, and she decided the price. It was financial theater, and the audience was captivated. What made OneCoin unstoppable wasn't greed. It was hope. Ruja understood something deeper than finance. When people feel excluded from opportunity, they'll believe anyone who promises inclusion. She didn't target Wall Street investors. She targeted ordinary people, teachers, farmers, small business owners. She gave them a story that felt noble. "We're not just making money," she said. "We're making history." Her charisma made people ignore red flags. When critics warned it was a scam, followers dismissed them as jealous or paid by banks. In online groups, they called themselves a family united against the system. And the more the outside world doubted them, the stronger their belief became. That's the paradox of cult psychology. Doubt only reinforces faith. By 2017, OneCoin had raised over $4 billion. It was one of the fastest growing financial operations in history. And yet, behind the scenes, the empire was collapsing. Governments started investigating. Financial regulators in Germany and India issued warnings. Journalists began to ask difficult questions. When a BBC reporter requested technical proof of the blockchain, OneCoin refused. When investors tried to withdraw their funds, they were told to wait. And then, one by one, the partners began to vanish. Key executives fled. Offices shut down. Bank accounts were frozen. Ruja had built her kingdom on belief, but belief was starting to fracture. She knew what was coming, and she had a plan. In October 2017, Ruja was scheduled to appear at a major OneCoin event in Lisbon. Thousands waited. The lights dimmed. Her photo flashed on the big screen, but the stage stayed empty. She never showed up. No one knew where she was. Her phone was turned off. Her emails stopped. Even her closest colleagues were silent. The queen of crypto had vanished. At first, investors told themselves she was just delayed. Then, that she was on a secret business trip. Weeks turned into months. Still, nothing. And slowly, the truth began to surface. The empire had been built on air. When Ruja Ignatova vanished in October 2017, she left behind no trace, only chaos. Her followers refused to believe she was gone. Some claimed she was hiding from jealous bankers. Others insisted she was working on OneCoin too. But within weeks, the empire she built began to crumble. Bank accounts were frozen in dozens of countries. Executives were arrested. The headquarters in Sofia went dark. And thousands of investors from London to Lagos to Manila realized their life savings had evaporated. Yet the queen herself was nowhere to be found. In early 2018, Interpol and the FBI launched a global manhunt. Her name was added to Europol's most wanted list. They traced her last confirmed sighting to Athens, Greece, where she had boarded a flight to an unknown destination. Then nothing. No credit card activity, no phone signals, no confirmed sightings. Some investigators believe she used a fake passport and plastic surgery to change her identity. Others think she lives under protection of organized crime networks in the Middle East or Eastern Europe. Her brother, Konstantin Ignatov, was later arrested in Los Angeles. He pleaded guilty to fraud and money laundering and testified that Ruja had warned him, "If things go bad, I'll disappear forever." She wasn't bluffing. Authorities estimate that more than $4 billion was stolen from investors across 175 countries. It wasn't just a financial crime, it was a psychological one. OneCoin preyed on the oldest human desire, the dream of getting ahead. For many, it wasn't greed, it was hope. Hope that this time, the system wouldn't be rigged against them. Hope that someone brilliant, someone trustworthy, could finally level the playing field. Ruja sold that dream beautifully. She wrapped deception in confidence and fraud in glamour. She gave people the illusion of control and they gave her everything. That's why her story cuts deeper than most scams. It wasn't about money. It was about belief. Even after her disappearance, thousands of investors kept defending OneCoin. They said she would return. They said the media was lying. It was the same psychology seen in every great deception, from failed revolutions to fallen religions. When a belief defines your identity, losing it feels like losing yourself. And Ruja knew exactly how to exploit that. She created not just a currency, but a community united by emotion, loyalty, and shared fantasy. That's why her empire didn't collapse overnight. It had to be believed into existence and disbelieved out of it. By the time the truth sank in, it was too late. Years later, Ruja Ignatova remains missing. She's been called the most successful female con artist in history. Some say she's living in Dubai under a false name. Others believe she's dead silenced by her partners or her own paranoia. But the mystery of her fate has only amplified her legend. Podcasts, documentaries, and FBI reports still chase the question, how did one woman outsmart the entire financial world? The answer is simple. She didn't. She just understood human nature better than anyone else. The story of the crypto queen isn't about cryptocurrency. It's about the fragility of trust. Every bubble in history, from tulips to tech stocks, starts with a promise too good to resist. And every time, it ends the same way, with disbelief, denial, and ruin. Ruja didn't invent greed. She simply reflected it back at us wrapped in sequins and slogans. Her empire wasn't made of code or coins. It was made of faith. And faith is the most valuable and most dangerous currency of all. Today, somewhere in the world, the woman who called herself the crypto queen may still walk free. Maybe she changed her face. Maybe she changed her name. Maybe she's watching the rise of new cryptocurrencies smiling, knowing the cycle continues. Because the truth is, the technology was never the problem. The problem was us. We wanted to believe in easy wealth. We wanted a shortcut to freedom. We wanted a savior, and she gave us one. Ruja Ignatova didn't just steal billions. She stole something far more precious, the illusion that we could finally trust money again. And that's why her story isn't over. Because as long as people crave miracles, there will always be another crypto queen waiting in the shadows.